Hello, it's Laura at Aquamarine18 Tarot and Books. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. This is a video in the books part of my channel, specifically related to the books that I'm using to organize my life. So what I wanted to share really is my 2023 day planner and tracker setup, but I thought that I would revisit first my 2022 setup and share what I've changed. Some things about my 2022 planner setup I really liked, other things I really did not, and so I've made quite a lot of changes from this. So this is what I used for 2022. I did have a cover on it, but I took it off for the purpose of this video because I'll be reusing the plastic cover I had. This is the Hobonichi Techo planner, which I'm sure many are familiar with, which is filled with beautiful Tomoe River paper. The spine is quite distorted from all of my stickers. I started putting too many stickers too close to the spine, and this is what happened, but that's okay. So this for 2022 has been my tracker and my day planner all in one, and I put some tabs here. I thought I would show you a couple of the different things that I used this for, and what of that worked well for me and what did not. And then I'll show you 2023. So in the front section, I used this for card of the day or cards of the day. I would write down the tool at the top. Sometimes it was dice or an oracle or a tarot, and the cards that I picked that day. I like this, and I like having this visually like that, but there wasn't enough room, and sometimes I would want to pick more cards and I didn't have room to record them, so this is something that I will be continuing to do, but that I will be changing. I'm going to use this kind of a layout for that next time because this has more room. This is a section of the planner that I just never used. I never really found a function for it, so that was a waste in this book. It will not be a waste in 2023. Now, going forward a bit here. Here in these couple of extra blank pages in the front of the book, I did my card of the year spread from Sarah at Waterchild Tarot, and it was Temperance year for me in 2022. I wrote down a little bit about what I drew for each of the 4 spread positions. I used all of them, as you can see. And I left some space here to journal this spread further, but I ended up doing that in my regular notebook that I use for kind of long form journaling, so this didn't really get filled in for that reason. And I like this spread and I'll be doing it again. It is my devil year. We'll see whether I share that spread with you or not, but it will be happening. And it will be represented in my 2023 book for sure. This is a couple of days where I didn't have much going on, but in the interest of not showing too much personal information, I figured I would show you a sparse weekend here. So what I did for this, for the daily pages, and it's a page a day book, is that I made these divisions, dividing the page in half and blocking off the bottom here, just using a marker in the season's color. So this is winter and it's green. I used the left-hand side for things that are time specific. So here I had working with Oracle class with Callie Fitzgerald, and there I had Dungeons and Dragons. And then on the right-hand side I made to-do lists. Clearly this weekend I was not doing much, groceries, laundry, and writing a book review. And at the bottom I completed some tracking. I did this all year, tracking the weather and how I experience it, what its effects on me were, just very, very briefly. And I was looking at temperature, humidity, wind, and sunrise and sunset time. So I enjoy doing this. It's a way of checking in with the environment every day, which as a druid I appreciate doing. And so that's something that I have enjoyed. I will say though, what I've learned from this is the first time that I used a day planner that was a page a day instead of a weekly layout. And what I've learned from this is that I'm a weekly layout person. I don't like the page a day as a planner, so I am changing substantially my approach to planning in 2023 back to more what I was used to before I got this book. At the beginning of each month in these books, there's one page of lined paper here. And so for that, I used the space to write about the animal of the month. And that worked well, actually. Having a card of the month on these pages made sense for me. I did that through the whole year. It worked well. Going further to the back. In the back of this book there are just some dot matrix paper, and I wrote down every book that I finished every single month. And I liked having this list. I like looking back at it. I will be doing this part again. I also included some reference sheets that I made. This is for geomancy, and I just printed them on label paper. Here's some for astrology. There's my birth chart if you were curious what that looks like. At the back I used this 100 list for just things that were awe-inspiring or interesting to me at any given day. And I found that I didn't really use this. I forgot it was there, to be quite honest. So I was really excited about goats that day. So I'm going to use this list for something else, as you'll see in 2023, because this just wasn't something I thought about visiting very much, and so it didn't get used. That is my 2022 Hobonichi Techo planner. Now, 2023, I am going with a completely different kind of set of systems, I suppose. So here I'm using 2 books. And of course I do have also a journal, and I just use a plain notebook for journaling when I journal a long tarot spread or something like that. I also have a book that I write notes when I'm reading, particularly from reading nonfiction. This is really just for planning, tracking, and kind of memory keeping, we'll say. So I'm using 2 books for that in 2023. You can see this is a traveler's notebook style setup, and that this is a single book. So the distinction between these two for me for 2023, this is a planner system that also has some other things inside of it I will walk you through. This is more of a record keeping, memory keeping, artsy journal once a day memory book. This one is the plan, and this one is the memory keeping. So I will show you both of these in turn. So here is the planner for 2023, which is also going to include some tracking and also my wallet. So I'll walk you through this. This is, you know, a cover that I would like to replace eventually because it is leather and I'm vegan. It's just been one that's been floating around our house for a number of years unused, and so I figured use what I have. And I love the color. Green is my favorite color, suitably for a druid. So basic traveler's notebook cover there. And so the first thing I have in here is actually my wallet. And this is just an insert, a wallet insert from Traveler's Notebook. I've put some post-its here just to hide some personal information. This is my credit card, debit card, and a couple of other things there. This is my driver's license, health card, and some other pieces of ID, and also some things I need for work, my health insurance, things like that. And then this is just some cards, like this is a card for points at the bookstore kind of thing. So that's my wallet. I've got a pocket here where I can put bills, and then the cards there. And then this is a change purse that I will use for some change I don't tend to have very much, and also some other points cards that don't get used very often, like the points card at the pet store. You know, things that I don't really need ready to hand so much can go in this pocket. So this is the entirety of my wallet, which I like the idea of the wallet and the planner being together. So now, this is my planner for 2023, and this is a planner by a company called Kinbor. And Kinbor is, I believe it's a Chinese company, and this planner is in reference to or celebrating a very old library and museum that is a National Historic Site. So that is what that's about. And it is the same size as a Hobonichi Weeks, if you're familiar with that. So this is actually smaller than a Traveler's Notebook size, but because this Traveler's Notebook cover has that shorter elastic in the middle, this stays really solid in there, and it leaves room for the pen. So that was my thinking, you know, on the logistics of this particular setup. The reason that I went with this book, the Kinbor, instead of the Hobonichi Weeks, knowing, as we do, that the Hobonichi Weeks has the beautiful Tomoe paper is because the Hobonichi Weeks, the paper is not the same color as the paper in this. The paper in the Weeks is like yellowy, and I don't like that. It doesn't show my inks as beautifully and vibrantly, so I went with this one, which has white paper in it. And so I have a pen to go with it. This is the Sailor Compass. It's fountain pen, as you can see. I got this on the International Fountain Pen Day sale. So it's an inexpensive fountain pen. I wouldn't put something too expensive for me, like in here that I'm going to be toting around every day, because, you never know. So I wanted something that matched, of course, and also, was affordable and sturdy, and the Sailor Compass is what I settled on for that. So I want to show you some sections of this, and this just has a plastic cover with a plastic pen loop here. This is actually the Hobonichi cover-on-cover plastic cover for the Hobonichi Weeks, and you can see it fits perfectly. I could put some other things in there if I wanted to. There's an extra pocket here that I could use. You see here the date of 1566. That is the date of the creation of this beautiful museum and library there. And the Kinbor planner has one bookmark tassel, which is useful. I will use that. Now I've, again, flagged off some sections. I'm not going to show everything. Some things inevitably are more personal than others. And it isn't entirely set up yet because it's still 2022. This is the 2023 book. But I'll show you, some of my plans and what the layout is like. So, one section of this Kinbor that I'm not using is this. If you can see there, what they've done is each one is laid out the same way, and you write in the MTW to indicate what day of the week it is at the top, based on, if the first is a Tuesday, you would have to put T for Tuesday up there. This is absurd to me. I will not be using this. I will probably cover this with something else. I don't know what yet. This is a very strange system. I'm not going to touch that. Similarly to the Hobonichis, this one has this kind of, I guess you could use this as a checklist or a tracker of various sorts. You can see here the months at the top, and each one you could write down, 3 things that you wanted to track how often you did them and check them off when you did those things. I'm not quite sure what this is going to be yet. I have some ideas. I'm narrowing down my thoughts. I'm not sure what this is going to be yet, but I will use this for something. Then there are these sections, 1 month layout each in the grid, and you can see here what I've decided to do with it is birthdays. So I have 2 birthdays in here right now. My best friend Mary and my dad are in there for February. I'm also going to include things here like commemorative times, like particular History and Heritage Month and things like that could go in here to remind me, since I often participate in readathons or things like that based on those times. So that is kind of commemorative times page is what I'm going to use those grids for. This is the layout of the actual planner itself. So what you get are the days on the left, and I didn't realize when I bought this that this planner was undated, so I did have to go through and write in the days, but that didn't really bother me, honestly. I really like this layout of having the day on the left and the grid paper on the right, because this is going to function similarly to the 2022 book. Anything timed is going to go on the left. I've got a haircut January 5th. Thank goodness. And on the right, I can have things like to-do lists, or, if I'm out and about and need to write something down, I can put it here. If I'm in a meeting and I need to jot something down, like tasks from the meeting, it could go on the right. I am using a separate planner for my day job, which I'm not going to show in this video. I chose the Jibun Techo Biz for that. I'm not showing it because my job has a very high level of confidentiality associated with it. My planner pretty much will not be leaving my office or my briefcase. I can't mix my business business. It's not really business. I work for a nonprofit. I can't really mix my day job planner and my everyday tote around everywhere I go planner because it wouldn't be appropriate. So I will write in probably things like, you know, which days are my work from home days, which days are my in the office days, things like that, but nothing else for day job is going to go in here. This is going to be personal appointments, other things like volunteering. I'm on a board of directors for another nonprofit. I can write things like that in here, so I will be using that for my commitments and to-dos there. And I've put in lunar stickers. You can see I put in a full moon there. I think I just did full moons and new moons in this book, so that's the setup for that. And, you know, there's not much filled in yet. I'm trying to not book myself too much into the new year, but, you know, here I'm taking geomancy class with Kelly Fitzgerald again, and I have some days off work, so there's that. Moving forward, there is some grid paper in the back of this book. Again, in the Hobonichi, it's dot matrix. In this, it is grid. I'm not sure. This will just be blank, you know, extra space. Extra space to take some notes when I need to take some notes. So I'm not going to overfill this with too many extras. This will just be, you know, for me to add extra things I need to write down. Maybe if I'm on a trip and doing some planning for a trip, I could write that there. Here is the 100, which I had done this list as my, you know, awe and inspiration list and didn't use it last year. So here I'm calling this the To Explore / wish list. And this could be a wish list for things like tarot and oracle decks, for instance. The wish list is the one thing that I've found doesn't work for me unless it's on paper. Things like the tarot collection, things like organizing my book reviews, which I've previously made a video about, all of that I use Notion for, but a wish list in Notion has never worked for me. I don't know why that is. I do like keeping a physical list of things that I'd like to look into further, things I might be interested in. I will not, you know, end up purchasing 3/4 of the things that go on this list. I might end up crossing them off, but if I see something I'd like to look into further, it can go there. That's the idea anyway. And then back here, this is the ink testing page. So I was testing some drying times of some different fountain pen inks there at the back. That's what I'm using that for. There are some extra pages in here. If you've seen these, you know, these planners before, you know, sometimes they have these different reference sheets in the back. I haven't covered up any of those. You know, what I end up using and what I don't, who knows. But that's my planner. That's my planner for keeping me organized and getting me where I need to go in 2023. Now here in the back, this is going to be my tracker. So this is a traveler's notebook insert from Good Ink Impressions, which is on Etsy. They're based, I want to say that they're based in Spain. They make these really nice books. So this is my astrology page. I have my birth chart and some different keyword sheets that I made myself, and I pasted in with this washi tape. This is a washi tape from Wonder Pens that has cats on it. Traveler's Notebook, tea, plants. It's perfect for me. So I'm combining astrology tracking, which I'm doing as part of my Druidry study right now, and the weather tracking. And so in this book, what I've done is I have the moon phases in more detail here with stickers. I write down, you know, major moon phases of the time and the sign that they're in when the moon moves from one sign to the next. So I'll know what the moon sign is always because that's what's in on the left here. I've written down some different planetary ingresses in here as well. I've included some natal aspects in here. And these little circles, this is for my weather tracking where I note the wind direction. So I'm playing with kind of weather really high up and weather that's less high up, right? And observing the environment and its impacts on me in multiple ways in this book and keeping that separate from just my appointments, right? So that's what I've done there. I also made myself a little insert. This is my solar return. I made myself a little insert here. I had purchased the Honeycomb Almanac in a digital version, and so I printed off some of the material that they include in that almanac, and I made a little ephemeris for myself for 2023, and I have included that in here, and just the glyph key, you know. So that's a cool thing. Some outer planet natal transits as well. That is my tracking book. So this, with the pen, is my entire system for planning and tracking, and my wallet as well, all in one, which is great. I'm very happy with it. Now, this is book number 2, and I won this cover in the book inside from Sarah over at Waterchild Tarot, and I really love this yellow and green cover. And so you can see this is a Hobonichi cover that would fit, for example, a Hobonichi Techo planner would fit in there. I purchased a pen inspired by this planner. Rather, I didn't purchase it. My mom purchased it for me for Christmas. But I put it on my list, you know, as very specifically the one that I would like. This is a Opus 88 Coloro fountain pen. It's a cool pen because it is a strictly eyedropper pen. If you know fountain pens, you know what that means. It has a valve at the back that you need to open to allow ink to flow from the body here into the feed, which is a really cool feature when you're dealing with things like not wanting a pen to leak all over the place, or you're dealing with air pressure changes in a flight, for instance. Not that I fly very much. It's a cool feature, and it holds a lot of ink. I'm really enjoying this pen so far. I got it in the fine nib, for people who are wondering. So I just like how all of these things look together very much. So in here, and again, this is a Hobonichi cover. I actually have another Kimbor book. So this is a Kimbor, which is a very similar daily layout to this, but I will be using it for a page a day, memory keeping, and not for planning. So I wanted to show you a couple of pages in here that I've got prepared already, but most of it is blank because I'll be recording it on the day. This has, again, very similar to the Hobonichi. This is the page that in the Hobonichi this year I had used to keep track of cards of the day and tarot and oracle draws of the day. This is just going to be an index, so particular notable days I can write in the index, I think, because it wasn't enough space for what I was using it for before. This page is going to be where I record my cards of the day. So that if I do a 3-card reading for my daily draw instead of a 1-card reading, I have plenty of room to be able to make sure that that's represented there. Now going forward, I have made a sigil for the year. My word of the year is orienting. I'm inspired by Sarah Ahmed's Queer Phenomenology book, so I put a quote from Sarah Ahmed's Queer Phenomenology there. And these are the trees of the month. I made a video about this already, so I won't belabor this point, but I'll be looking at a different tree each month, and so I've just written those there. This is a spread where I'm going to do my 2023 card of the year, which is the Devil. And I used some label paper to print off the Devil from the Heart and Hands Tarot and the Devil from the Many Queens, and I've written in the questions, the spread positions there for this spread. I have not done the reading yet, but that's on my list in the next couple of days. So maybe I'll share that later, maybe not, we'll see. Now this is, again, the layout, very, very similar to the Hobonichi. The main difference, I think, between this and the Hobonichi is that there's less stuff on this one. So you can see here, you know, they've got quotes down here and little calendars and things in the Hobonichi. This one is just grid pretty much all the way to the bottom. This I'm going to use much as I used in the Hobonichi. I will use this for my tree of the month, so I'll just write the tree's name up here, and then there's some lines I can take notes there. And then here I will make a page of something interesting every day. I plan to practice calligraphy in here. That's something that I'm interested in. I picked up a few calligraphy nibs to give that a try. Different, you know, memories I could paste in, ticket stubs, things like that. Kind of a little bit scrapbooky, some stickers, just giving myself space to kind of play around in here. So that's what those pages will be, and these are, you know, of course, they're just blank. I haven't done anything in this because it's not 2023 yet. Here at the back, I'm going to, again, this falls into more memory keeping than planning. So instead of having the books that I've read for the year in the planner, it's going in this book in the extra pages at the back. So I've just written down books read 2023. I also made a spot further down in here for decks that I've added to my collection. I do like to kind of keep a note of that. You know, it's nice to have. I like to know who came in when. The back of the book has a bunch of extras in it, some of which I'll use and some of which I won't. This is a favorites page that you can indicate a book or an album or something like that. And so I thought I might do something with my 5-star reads back here. I'm not sure yet what that will be, but that'll be something. And then, there's always some extra sheets back here in these planners, and I've just left them as is. So that is going to be my page a day memory keeping for 2023, which will function alongside of my planner and wallet and tracker for 2023 to keep me organized, let me, reflect on and keep, keepsakes and make some art in this one, and to, keep my environmental observations and also just my weekly planning in this one. That is my books for 2023. This video is way longer than I anticipated it being, but what can you do? Let me know in the comments below if you are, using any particular planners that you really like, or journals that you really like, and if you're changing anything about your system in the upcoming year, I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. I will see you in the next video. Bye!